construction part 2, and we've got an ever-increasing list of chord names. So it's very important, incidentally, when you're looking at these alterations to chords. We've had a major, we've had a minor, we've had a sus4, we've had a sixth, we've had a minor sixth. Okay, it's very important when you look at all of those that you don't start thinking of these as all being loads and loads of different chord shapes. They're really just variations on an E. These are E, this is minor, and so on and so forth. Not, well, there's two completely different chords, because then when you move them up to bar chords, and you say, well, we've looked at major, minor, we've looked at a sus4, we've looked at a sixth, we've looked at a minor sixth. At least then you're just carrying that one template around in your head. Anyway, okay, so that leaves us two tones within the scale which we haven't used or added so far to our chord shapes. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is the second. Now, the second is very rarely used in chords as a drone chord, let's call it that. Okay. The likelihood of you hearing this is slim. Okay, you tend to hear them as part of a riff. So, for example, here's C, here's our second note. So if I put that into a C, yeah, but I wouldn't really think of that as going, oh, C, C2, C, C2. That, again, that's slightly counterintuitive. I think, well, it's a C with this melody. Yeah, it's the same thing as the Bon Jovi thing, isn't it? Okay, you could call it all sorts of things, but it's a D with a tune at the top of it. So the second tends to be put an octave higher. So it's, for example, let's suppose I played an A chord and I put a B in it. Okay, so that sounds like an A chord with a B added to it. Okay, if I put it in here, put it here. Okay, again, it sounds like an A chord with some decoration, and you can carry on all day with this, but okay. Again, same thing. But as soon as I put that B anywhere near the bass note, it's a bit messy, and if I take the A away and just leave the B, now it sounds like I've got a B chord. Now, I'm going to come back to the second in a minute because it has a massive role to play when it's moved an octave higher, but that is often used in conjunction with what happens with the seventh note, which is our remaining tone we haven't actually talked about. So here's one of the more ridiculous ways of naming a chord that I've heard anyway. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but anyway. 1, 3, 5, 7. Now, given the way we've named everything else, you just say, well, that's C7, isn't it? But actually it's not. C, E, G, B is known as C major 7. A lot of people would think of this as a sort of like a jazzy sort of chord, I suppose. Yeah, that's right. I don't think the Chili's are particularly jazzy, are they? But they've used one. Okay, not very often, admittedly, but okay. So a major 7 is 1, 3, 5, and the seventh note from the major scale. That's the only way I can think of it, really. Okay, you can also have a minor chord with a major 7, so that's 1, flat 3, 5, and major 7. So rather James Bond-esque sound. So the question is, what do we call it if it's there? Well, you would think flat 7, wouldn't you? Because it is the flat 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, flattened. Okay, C, E, G, B flat. This is just called a seventh. Now I think it's arguable that given the rise of guitar players and trying to be, what should we say, relatively cool dudes, they play things with flat sevens in them all the time. So why give it a special name? We'll give the music theory one a special name because we don't really use that too much. I don't know. Who knows? It's all lost in the sands of time. But the main thing to remember is a major 7 is with our 7th tone from the major scale. A 7th uses the flat 7th tone, so C, E, G, B flat, or in its minor version, C, E flat, G, B flat. The next question we have to ask ourselves is, well, what if we add any other tones? In other words, we stack those tones, and this brings us back to the 2nd or the 9th. And obviously, as we get more layers in these chords, there are a lot of things start happening. Firstly, the arpeggio obviously gets bigger. Let's suppose we said we're going to play C, E, G, okay, and then we've got the 7th, B flat, and then we play a D, which was our 2nd, but we're now going to call it a 9th. So it's the 2nd an octave higher. Okay, so that's a C 9th. 1, 3, 5, flat 7, 9. Okay. So what if it has a major 7th in it? Okay, 1, 3, 5, major 7, 9. Okay. Now it's also possible to have minor versions of both of those chords. So C9 becomes C minor 9. C major 9, you're going to love this one, becomes C minor with a major 9. Takes us back to, which is our James Bond chord. Anyway, okay, so that gets us as far as 9ths are concerned. Now there is one other question we've got to ask is, well, what happens if we don't have those supporting tones, and we don't have 1, 3, 5 and a 7th of whatever sort it might be? Then this is bordering on a sensible name for a chord. This one, 1, 3, 5 and 9, is called an add 9. Yeah? Okay. 1, 3, 5, add 9. stuff that you know to remind you about some of these chord sounds, because if it's just a pile of figures, it becomes very, very mathematical. And as I've said in the past, this isn't about using a calculator, it's about using your ear, even though you do have to calculate some stuff. So learn something with the major 9 in it. That's all add 9s. Yeah, or if you don't like that, how about yeah, just start with a Burt Bacharach song, popularised by the Carpenters. Okay, now what about a minor 9? Well, probably George Michael, I would have thought. Yeah, there it is. Okay, if we want, I've just given you some examples here to try and bring this stuff to life. Okay, sounds like I'm resuscitating a patient of some sort, doesn't it? I think the reason I'm saying that is because as soon as you mention theory, people kind of clam up and you sort of think, there's no need to, because this is all stuff that's already happening. All this stuff happens whether you're aware of it or not, so you may as well know what's going on, in my view. Okay, here's a good example of, this is a minor major 9. Yeah, it's a fairly well-known tune. And so on and so forth. Okay, try and find something which identifies. Even if you're looking for, you know, what reminds me of a minor arpeggio. That's easy, isn't it? Just anything that reminds you. That's the whole key to it. Anyway, listen, that's it for the moment. I'll be back with some of the more colourful extensions on what we've already got in the next video. So thanks very much for watching, and please click the subscribe button. Thank you. Bye for now.